What's up, YouTube, and welcome to another video. Today, I want to talk about a very important topic to me, something that I'm learning to work through and to get over. And I want to really entitle this video, just to get straight into it, that negativity is not a joke. It's not a joke. Sometimes we take little things for granted, we take little negative jokes for granted, we take little negative people for granted, but it's not a joke. It's not funny in the sense that it negativity is like a picture a snowball rolling down a hill. At the beginning it starts small, but as it keeps rolling down the hill, it gets more and more snow. Then all of a sudden it becomes this big giant snowball that it's it's hard to stop. It's destructive now. The problem with negativity, it's that negative speaking, for example. It could start with just external voice. Maybe you say stuff like "I'm stupid," like you fail at a project, you fail at something, say, "Oh, I'm stupid, I'm useless, I'm worthless." Uh, in the beginning you're just scolding yourself, right? And maybe that's true. You're just honestly, you're innocently just scolding yourself. You feel bad about yourself right now, so you say, let me just use this word, I'm useless, I'm stupid, I'm dumb. And the problem with the brain, I learned this some time ago. The brain is an organ that you have to learn how it actually works. You see, a brain that doesn't know a real scenario from a fake one, but your brain basically basically gives you what you give it. Basically, if I could explain it properly, like whatever it receives, it's going to react to it. For example, I learned in a book once that the same way you could actually make yourself happy by jumping up in the sky. Let's say you're feeling depressed. If you jump up in the sky and dance around, you would actually start feeling a little better, because you tricked your brain to saying, "Oh, I'm in a good mood." While you're not in a good mood, while things might be while things might be going bad for you, outward gesture, external gesture can if affect your brain and how it how it operates. It affects what hormones it releases. So this is how an external voice, whether positive or negative, can become an inner voice. This is where it becomes dangerous. You see, the inner voice, that voice that speaks to you, that voice that you start hearing when no one else can't really hear this voice, but you hear it. The inner critique, the inner bully. The worst bully a lot of us have is our own selves. That inner bully, that inner judge, that inner condemner. It's one of the most hardest things to get rid of. It takes a long time to get rid of, and it's very destructive to you, because this inner voice then goes to a lower part of your brain. Not lower, I don't mean to say lower, but it then goes to a deeper part of your mind called the subconscious mind. Now, once it reaches the subconscious mind, it literally starts making you, it's like your body, your body, your actions, your who you choose to interact with, the food you choose to eat. It's that deep, right? It starts being influenced by this inner voice, by this negative inner voice. And here's the sad part: a lot of people who self-sabotage don't even really know they're doing it. A lot of people who choose toxic relationships don't even know they're doing it. A lot of people who are stuck in people pleasing don't know that they're doing it. A lot of people who they have a low self-image of themselves, they have no confidence, they have no self-belief, they don't really know why it is. It just seems to always come out. You may find yourself always in a loop of failure, and you're like, but why do I always fail? Like, why can't I make any headway? And this is a deep topic that, and I hope you could get it. Is that it starts as an external voice, and it doesn't always have to come from you. This is why you also have to get away from negative people and negative situations, because it's not always you. Sometimes it could have been a parent who was very negative to you. It could be a friend. I want to give a personal story. this was a personal story, right? Like my brother and I, we grew up, and we at a certain point we also developed this kind of habit of, ridiculing ourselves. Like, we used to say it started off as a joke. Ugly, you ain't never gonna go nowhere. It started off as a joke. Stupid, not good enough. But it was a joke. It started off as a joke, as when we didn't do well in school, sometimes when we didn't when we got teased at school, when we failed at a sports meet or something, whatever sport we were playing. We used to beat up ourselves with words. It was funny. We in fact, we were smiling while we were doing it, not conscious of what I was doing. By the time I was a teenager, I realized I was a happy child, but my teenagers were very depressed. My teenagers up until my early 20s were very depressed years. Very low self-esteem, very low self-image. It was to a point where people, because as a child I was just so outgoing, people thought that something was wrong with me. Um, my brother was always a bit more quiet, but even him, he got deeper into his quietness. In social situations, we were very awkward. My social anxiety, that's where it started on in my teenage years. And at that point, I know what was going on. My social anxiety, although it came from many places, but I'm just gonna focus on the negative inner voice for this video. But it came from many places. But I realized that I couldn't understand why was I just naturally socially anxious. I would be at home, then as soon as I'd go outside, be around people, or if I wanted to talk to a girl or something, I would just get this terrible feeling inside. It was almost automatic. And I'm like, but what is this? Why am I like this? And those kind of thoughts lead you to um only more darker thoughts, to a point where in my early 20s I was at a really dark place, and to a point where I ended up in a psych ward. My brother, he actually took a worse turn. I won't speak about it in this video, but he took an even worse turn. And while there were a lot of factors playing into our lives, I'm not saying our lives have been a walk in the park and there were not other stressors, but in the revelation of the knowledge of negativity, I realized that it's something I shouldn't play with anymore. It's something I'll advise anybody who watches this video. Or if you have a friend, you and your friend, you do this to each other, like y'all laughingly talk about things, even joking about like suicidal thoughts. Look, you will be shocked where you end up at the end of a negativity train. There are a lot of people who ended up taking some type of substance. They ended up doing all sorts of things, and it started off at an innocent place. It started off as just like a joke. It was just like friends having fun. It was just friends playing around. Um, don't. It's like it's not to be played with, and I'm just saying the reason why I can say it's not to be played with is because it's when I started the reverse healing problem, because when I realized I had a very negative inner voice, when I started the healing of, and I was reversing that, and I was replacing this inner voice with a more steady voice, a more positive voice, not like a self-pleasing voice, but like a positive voice. Like, I have improved so much. I'm back to being an outgoing person. People actually want to be around me again. I don't feel that terrible feeling when I'm around people or a group of people. I'm able to calm myself down. And I say this to say this means that the negative part of it was also caused by, like, I had a lot to I had a lot to how do you say this? I had a lot to play. I had a big part to play with my mood, the way the journeys that I've been on in life. I had a big part to play, and a lot of it came from my inner voice. And the same way negativity is not a joke, positivity is not a joke. But the problem is, do not underestimate how low you can go, because interestingly enough, what started off as a joke, what started off as something I could handle, what started off as nothing so serious, became a problem that I literally had to really fight. There were days I had to fight with myself, and it's like an inner pull, tug of war for your mood, for your mental health, your mental well-being. And I will say some people don't win that fight. That's the point I want to make in this video. Like, it's sad to hear, it's sad to see, but some people, they do not win that fight. And this is why I say, don't even get to that point. Don't even make it get to that point. Don't think that you're that tough person who could do it. Man, there's a lot of people who think they're tough out here, and I'm telling you, negative thinking, a negative inner world, and it could be really bad, man. Like when you have an inner voice that's just constantly beating you up every day, it could drain you. Just thinking about it right now, it's making me already remember how, man, tumultuous those days were. It's like, it could and when you're that low, a bad day or a bad experience could really send you over the edge. And this is why I want to say in this video, be more, don't be so playful with negativity from people, from yourself, especially from yourself especially, but even from people. Like, don't be afraid to tell your friends or anybody, hey, I don't play like that. I don't play that negativity stuff. Hey, let's talk positive. I don't play that kind of stuff. It's really that serious, because look, when you are down in that ditch, it's almost like a pit that you're in, of those negative thinking and the whole, you're beating up yourself. It's really only you. Like, nobody can save you. I realize that no other human being, like when I was depressed and all that, and there were people be around me trying to talk positivity into me, and I wasn't even really hearing them. It was like I was hearing the words, but it's like I wasn't really, I was zoned out. It's like I was somewhere else. And it took a lot of work. It took a lot of it took a lot to climb back. And my point in this video, don't go down there. What I'm saying? Like, and don't think it can't be you, because I didn't, the kind of person I didn't think it could be me, but it was me. I never thought I'd contemplate all the stuff I was contemplating. I never thought I'd get that low. I never thought it could land me in a psych ward at the time, but it did. It sure did. And I almost ended up staying in that psych ward for a long time. So, you know, be mindful of how you speak to yourself. Be mindful of how people are speaking to you, and be mindful of how you're speaking to others, because, in life you reap what you sow. Don't think you could just be positive to yourself and you're out here cursing others. Sometimes in life, the curses that you send out on somebody else can rebound and come to you. So be careful how you speak to others. Speak life into people. Speak life into people. Speak life into yourself, and do your best. This is the part that you can't really control in this video, and I understand. But do your best to try to surround yourself in an environment where people positively speaking to you. But yeah, I understand you can't always control that. But the one thing you can control is how you speak to you and how you speak to others. And that's what I started with. And honestly, my environment hasn't changed much, but I've changed so much, and I've already seen the that's where the big difference came. And it's interesting how when I started to have that difference, my environment started to change a little bit too. But basically what I'm trying to say, like, your other environment, sometimes we tend to over focus on that, and we think, oh my gosh, if I was just in a better spot, if I was just around better people, everything would be better. But I'll tell you this, and this is from real life experience: if you carry some form of negativity inside of you, it does not matter where you go on this planet. It doesn't matter if you could change houses many times, you could change friends, you could say, I mean, just dump this whole group chat of friends, I'm going to get a new group chat. You will notice you keep encountering the same nonsense. You will see, you notice that you still feel bad every day. It's really you. So the most important voice you have to control is that inner voice, man. And if you're watching this video and you're struggling with your inner voice, start now to climb back, and start now to stop talking so negatively to yourself, because what you're really doing is you're feeding your inner voice. And once you feed that inner voice, Your inner voice then starts feeding your subconscious mind. Once your subconscious mind is filled with negativity, it will literally have you on autopilot to live a negative life. So be careful, man, and don't take negativity for a joke. And let me know what you think about this video.